AITA for wanting my roommates to return the cat they adopted without my okay. I want to preface with the fact I am allergic to cats. I live in a 3-bedroom apartment with my 2 roommates, Alex and Taylor. The apartment isn't that big, which we all previously agreed the space was pretty limited. We have 1 cat already, which Alex got just before we moved in. Thankfully, that one is short-haired, and I am not allergic to him. Recently, Taylor mentioned wanting a cat, and Alex said it would be cute if their cat had a friend. I agreed it would be cute as I thought it was just passing conversation. Then they started asking me about it. First, right when I walked in the door, what my opinion about a second cat was, and my response was, yeah, I don't know about that. Then again while I was washing dishes with my headphones on and I didn't hear them. And again about fostering one, my response being, but fostering isn't just fostering, you will end up keeping the cat. Again, I thought that it was all just talk about the possibility of getting another cat because I expected a serious sit-down discussion about it, as we do share this apartment. A few days ago, they both went to the shelter to look at the cats, and Taylor adopted a cat without getting my consent first. I only find out 7 p.m. through Taylor's story that they had adopted a kitten. I got no text or heads up that day about it at all. Taylor said they planned to sit down and have a talk with me after already getting the cat, but hadn't because Alex was at work. I meet the cat and I do think he is adorable, but immediately my throat and eyes got scratchy. When Alex got back from work, they told me I had no idea Taylor was doing that today. Acting surprised to my face. I then confide in Alex, explaining, I am allergic to this cat and I'm not too thrilled. Taylor texted me the next day saying, if you're really allergic, it's not a big deal. I can return the cat. I responded, I am allergic to the cat. I don't think it is fair to the cat to return him the day after adoption. This could have been avoided had you asked me before adopting him. I don't appreciate not being told about this. They both claim I never gave them an answer if they could get this second cat. It turned into a back-and-forth argument of me explaining myself and Alex calling me selfish because I want Taylor to return the cat that I, 1, never agreed to having, and 2, am severely allergic to. Finally, after having a sit-down conversation, Taylor agreed to return the cat. Alex continued calling me childish, selfish, immature, and a horrible friend, even though it is not their cat. Now neither will talk to me, and Alex further cursed me out. It makes me upset because I really think this all could have been avoided had they sat me down, communicated, and asked me and gotten a real answer from me before adopting the poor thing. I am in my 40s. My parents were in their early to mid-70s. My dad passed away in March last year. He was seemingly healthy, checked out by doctors on the regular, went into ER for what we thought was pneumonia, and passed 3.5 weeks later after a heart attack with stage 4 lung cancer. My family was devastated. I was devastated. I am still devastated. I live in the same city as my parents, but my sisters do not. Family, friends, and neighbors came together to be there for my mom. I was executor of the estate. I did all the things I had to do to get his affairs in order and transfer things into her name, etc. We sat as a family and agreed together no big changes for a year. Since then, it has been nothing but big changes. My mom reconnected with a friend of theirs from their 20s and 30s. He is also a widower, but has been for a few years. He gave a speech at my dad's celebration of life about their time working closely together. This was in June. In the summer, my mom took off. They went RVing and traveled around and was at his place a few hours away in between. At the beginning of August, 4 months after my dad passed, she asked me to come to his house. She told me they were in love and were getting married. I cried immediately but pulled myself together. They've booked a date for spring 2025. I understand that she is older and doesn't have much time left. If there's ever a time for her to be selfish, it's now. The more love in the world, the better. Maybe she's scared, lonely to live on her own. Maybe she can't afford to live on her own. But I am just so angry because she said it's for love. 50 years together and she's in love 4 months after he dies. In September, they took another trip and eloped. She said originally their spring wedding was important, that they had their kids and grandkids with them. But then they eloped. So was it important? They are still having the wedding celebration in the spring. She put her condo up for sale a few weeks ago and is back with him at his house, She didn't even tell me she went back. I heard from my sister. I'm feeling lost. I'm feeling angry. I'm feeling grief for both my dad and feeling like I'm losing my mom. She is always at my kid's birthday. She missed it this summer. My dad and my birthdays are a few days apart. She was away for both. Their anniversary was only a few days after when she eloped. I don't want to lose my mom, but I feel like I've already lost her. Is it worth it to suck it up and just pretend to be okay with everything because I don't know how much time is left? Life is short. Why be angry? But I am. Will I be the a-hole if I didn't attend my mom's wedding? My mom died a few months ago and she left my brother, in his 40s, some money. But I, also 40, got most of what she owned. Some background to explain why mom did this and why my brother is angry. My mom was an only child for 16 years and she always wanted to get involved in her dad's business. But he didn't want a woman taking over the family business. He was determined to have a son one way or another, and even though mom was prepared to leave school and work for him, by the time her brother came along, he made it very clear that even if there was no son, he would never let her work for him and take over one day. He would rather see the business close. This destroyed my mom. She loved her parents and felt so rejected. Mom's dad didn't get his way, however, because her brother wanted nothing to do with the business and refused to even work for him, let alone take over. My mom was estranged from her dad for many years because her dad made it painfully clear to her that he didn't value a daughter and never would, so mom stepped back. But when he heard mom had a son, he reached out, and when that didn't work, he waited until my brother was 18 and he offered him a job and the chance to run the family business. My mom was shocked, and my brother told her she better not tell him not to accept because he didn't like the fact she kept us from our grandfather and prevented him running the business with the estrangement. Mom and him had a talk. She said she did not want him to grow up with the same disregard for women as her dad. He basically told her to go and F herself, and he went to work for her dad. Years passed and he regretted the strain between him and mom. And dad was disgusted with him too. He reached out after dad died and apologized and told mom he loved her. But things were never the same, and he talked about her dad like he was some amazing hero of a guy, which was so difficult for my mom. So apparently when mom had her will made, she decided that I should get the most, and my brother should get something but not an equal share given he had the business and seemed perfectly okay with her being shut out of it for being born the wrong sex. My brother is hurt and angry about this now that she's gone. He asked me how she could have done this and why I'm not angry. I told him he betrayed mom, so why would he get half? He tried to say he didn't, but I told him he went to work for her dad anyway and then basically told her to go F herself, and even when they reconciled, he acted like the father who treated her like shit was some amazing person who needed his praises sang all the time. He said I was shitting on him for no real reason. Am I the a-hole? The OP is not the a-hole. He's not entitled to more than your mom decided to leave him. And considering the state of the relationship and how he insisted on praising a man who mistreated her, it's pure generosity on her part that she left him anything. Or maybe because certain areas have laws that you can't sue for more of the estate if you were left a certain portion. R.I.P. to your mom. I hope your brother can one day realize how much his actions hurt her. Am I the a-hole for telling my sister I'm not swapping rooms with her because she should be moving out soon? I-18, male, was in the car with my mother today, and she asked me if my sister had said anything to me about switching rooms. I said no one asked what she meant, and she said that apparently my sister wanted to switch rooms with me soon because my room has a smaller room beside it, and she wanted to use that room for her daughter, and then my room for her. My sister is 26 and still lives at home with me and her parents, and she also has a 2-year-old daughter. What makes this even more frustrating is that whenever she was pregnant, we did actually swap rooms because my room was downstairs, so it was more convenient for her, and I agreed to swap with her to help her out. So she got what she wanted, and now she's asking me to swap with her again. Because she's never satisfied with what she has. I am 100% not swapping with her because she's 26, and she was meant to be saving for the past year to move out, so there's like 0 point in us swapping rooms because she's just going to move out hopefully soon anyway. And I'm also planning on getting my room painted as well. When my mother told me about this, I hadn't heard anything about it. But right enough, whenever we went home, my sister actually said to me, how would I feel about switching rooms? So I obviously said no, that I wouldn't not be switching rooms with her. And she actually seemed surprised for some reason, which I can't understand because I'm not sure why she thought I would be on board with it. She asked me why, and I told her that I thought she was moving out soon, and she acted all offended and was like, "Oh, so you want rid of us?" And basically acting as if I heavily insulted her or something. She was also yapping about how she just wants her daughter to have a room beside her, as if they would make me feel bad enough to agree with her. I was just straight up and told her it wasn't happening, and she had the audacity to call me selfish and was just super pissed off at me for some reason.